What's happening? Welcome back to the S2 Strategic Defense channel. My name is Nick, and today we are talking about tactical pens. What are they? Are they any good? Should you get one? Is it a waste of time and money? I'm going to answer your questions and much more in this video. Stay tuned. So you might be asking yourself, why are we even talking about tactical pens?
I once saw him kill 3 men in a bar with a pencil.
That's why. All jokes aside, about 8 or 9 years ago, I had made a video somewhere on YouTube, I'll post a link for it, about how to use a tactical pen. Now, what you have to keep in mind about is that era didn't really have a lot of tactical pens. Not that many people were making them. It was kind of a newer thing. They weren't in people's hands. And I got a mixed bag of feedback. Some people loved it. Some people were like, what the hell is that? I'm wasting money, that kind of stuff. Now, almost a decade later, some of those opinions are still floating around and maybe it's still not in your hands. So I wanted to put together this video, show you some tactical pens, give you some information about them, and hopefully give you enough information where you can decide for yourself if you like them or if you don't like them. So what is a tactical pen? Well, in my opinion, a tactical pen is kind of like the multi-tool of pens. First and foremost, it is a writing utensil. I think they actually work really well as a pen, mostly because of the weight. They tend to glide across the paper really nicely. That's my opinion. But they also have a self-defense aspect to them, meaning they're designed as a self-defense tool. And then some of them even have some kind of a utilitarian use. So, they might have a flashlight attached to them or a stylus attached to them or something like a screwdriver or, that kind of a thing. So kind of multiple purposes, right? But the main aspect of it is that it's a writing tool, it's kind of incognito, and it's supposed to be used as a self-defense tool. So let me show you a handful of my tactical pens. Now, I have probably about 15 or 18 of these things. I'm not gonna show you all 15 or 18, but I'll show you a few of these just so you get an idea about what they are and how they work, okay? All right, so the first one I'm gonna show you guys is actually the original pen that I had in that video that I did literally a decade ago, which kind of says a lot about the pen, right? If it's lasted a damn near a decade at this point and I still use it, that means it's kind of rugged quality, good construction. So you'll see it again here. This is made out of aircraft aluminum. On the back side of this, we have what I call the DNA extractor. And then you have a kind of a pointy tip. And then if you pull the cap off here, you have the writing part of it. Cool, so there's that one. Then you have a different design over here. This one has a tungsten or carbide tip on it. That's considered a glass break. On the other side, you have this stylus. If you guys are using tablets and such quite a bit, that might come in handy. And if you unscrew the cap, that is the actual writing component, okay? All right, so you have that. Let's show you guys another one. Some of these get kind of fun. This one's pretty cool. This one is more on the utility side. First and foremost, it has a built-in light to it, which I think is pretty sweet, okay? Then, same thing, it's got the carbide bit on the one end, so that kind of operates as your glass break. You can unscrew that real quick and then screw it in upside down, and you would have some small tools like screwdrivers and such. Cool. And then put that side back real fast, and then if you unscrew it again, that is the actual writing part of it, okay? And then the last one that I'll show you guys, much less utility, much more self-defense, is this one right here, okay? I like this pen quite a bit. This one, no special tools to it here. You have the writing part to it, so you just pull the cap off. There's the tip for that. It does have that same carbide bit to it, so that way you could do a little bit of glass break if you need it. And it looks a lot more like a spiky, if you guys remember those things, right? It was basically a Kubotan. And so it's got those same kind of rings to it, that same kind of texture to it, where you can kind of really get your grip onto it, right? All of these are made out of aircraft aluminum. I already showed you one that's over a decade old, right? And I used it almost a decade ago on video, and I still use it. And so you can see the durability aspect of it right there. So what are some of the pros and cons of tactical pens? Well, let's start with the cons. Number one, cost, right? Back in the days, a good tactical pen used to go from 50 to 100 bucks. Now they're like 15 to 25. So they've come down a lot in price. Now, you have to keep something in mind. If you're somebody who loses pens all the time, that might be, money in the toilet. But for me, I just showed you guys one that, I've had for 10 years and I still use it. So I've gotten my money out of that thing tenfold, right? Just up to you. The second con to it is that they tend to be a little bit heavier, a little bit bulkier, right? Why? Because they're made out of aircraft aluminum. Newer ones are coming out in a special kind of a polymer, which makes them a little bit lighter, but they're still bulkier, meaning the diameter of them is bigger. They're designed as a self-defense tool, and so you need a little bit of size to it, right? Okay, the third con to it is that if you stick it in your pocket, the side pocket or in your back pocket, if you sit down, you might feel it poke you. Now, it's not gonna puncture you, you're not gonna go to the ER or anything of that nature, but you might feel it, right? So you'll have to kind of shift it over. Now, for me, I don't have that problem, but I've given so many of these out as gifts, and I've had some of my students to try them out for a few days, and so that's been like a 50-50 mix. Some people really get annoyed by it, and other people like, I don't know what you're talking about, it was fine for me, right? So that it depends on you. And then the last con is that if you do stick it into a back pocket or in a side pocket, something like that, they can get pointy enough that they can eventually poke through your pocket, meaning they'll tear the inside lining or sometimes even the outside part of the pant and kind of poke through. Doesn't happen that often, but I have seen it happen. So those are the cons. So what are the pros? Well, you have a self-defense tool on you. And by the way, it's not supposed to replace my pistol, my knife, my pepper spray, or any of that stuff. It's just something additional in case I don't have one of those available to me on person right away. So that's a pro. The durability and the longevity that you get out of one, right? I just showed you guys one over 10 years old, right? Most of these, the ones that I showed you guys, are over 5 years old. And so I've had them forever, I use them all the time, and so they tend to last, right? The third thing is that they're kind of incognito. I travel with this all the time. If it's in my laptop bag or if it's in my backpack, what I do is I tend to just kind of take the cap off of it, show the pen side, and I'll just clip it in right next to other pens or right next to my tablet or something of that nature, where it just kind of blends. It fits, right? And so the fact that I can go anywhere with it, I've never had TSA question me about it. I've never had anybody question me about it. And if I walk into a building that is, does not allow firearms or does not allow, edge weapons or pepper spray or that kind of a thing, maybe I'm going to a courthouse or maybe I'm going into police station or something like that, I've had that pen with me and nobody's ever thought twice about it. So the secret mode, the incognito aspect of it, and the fact that I could take it literally anywhere and nobody's threatened by it is a huge pro for me, okay? That also being said kind of comes down to whether you're looking at the pros or the cons. It comes into one simple question. Is it worth it for you to have as a backup tool, right? As a backup writing tool, as a backup utility tool, like if you get the one with the light on it or a screwdriver or anything like that, and as a backup to whatever your self-defense game plan is. And for me, spending $20, $25 on that, absolutely worth it. So let's talk about how to use a tactical pen for self-defense, okay? Now I'll give you guys some different techniques and some angles here that you guys can work on and practice at home to help build this right in. But there is a mistake that people make. When they grab onto a tactical pen and think about self-defense, they consider it like a stabbing weapon, almost like a knife. And I suppose you can use it that way, but that's not really what it's designed for. What you want to do is use it as a Kubotan or a palm stick. And so you kind of grab onto it as such, okay? Having a tactical pen or a palm stick or Kubotan is kind of like the exclamation point behind a sentence, right? So you already need to have some other things going on, and that just helps emphasize what you're doing. Okay, so here's 5 angles that I want you guys to work on. And I'm holding the pen with my right hand, so I'm gonna start with over my right shoulder, and I'm gonna swing down. This is angle 1, right? 1 goes down at this angle, so let's just say 1 o'clock down to 7 o'clock. Then there's angle 2, that goes from, let's say 11 o'clock down to 5 o'clock. Okay, so essentially you made an X pattern, angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2, okay? And what you want to do is not hack at this, you want to combine an X, right? 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, okay? Then you have the 3, which is an overhand. Almost, I'm gonna turn the side here. This is gonna cycle, okay? So it works in a circle. So I'm not straight driving downward. I'm cycling this thing in a circle, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3. Angle 4 is going to bring the point of it out, and we're gonna thrust forward. 4, 4, 4, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have this kind of a angle going up, but coming forward, up, okay? You would use this one if you were on the ground and trying to get somebody off of you and you're aiming upward, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll turn the side here for you real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Work those angles in and get really good at using those. Then what you do is you start learning how to punch and kick and put this in mixed with it. So you might go 1 and 2, bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, you know, get that 4 going. Maybe you get taken down the ground. There's the 5, right? So you're working your punches and your kicks in with the pen. Remember what I said, it's punctuation. It's an exclamation point to what you're already doing, right? And so let that augment. Now, by the way, if the tactical pen gives you a 1% advantage, that 1% might be exactly what you need to be able to survive that situation, okay? I'd rather spend the 20, 25 bucks to have one and work these different angles and have that exclamation point, that punctuation at the end of my sentence that might make the difference for me between survival or not survival, or really getting hurt and then being able to escape, okay? And that's why I tend to like tactical pens. So if you guys can work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, work that in with your punches and kicks and standing up and on the ground, that kind of a thing, that'll go a long ways. By the way, if you guys carry some kind of a tactical light, like a regular flashlight, it's the same exact thing, right? So if I have this light right here, this is the one that I keep with me most of the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The light and the pen work the same way. And so it's kind of universal concepts, which is even nicer because what I'm training with one applies to more than just that particular tool. So I'll show you guys my favorite tactical pen, and it's actually by a company called Atomic Bear, okay? I've had this for about 4 or 5 years now, and it is as such. It's got the ridges on it, the rings on it, the same way like a spiky would. This pen writes really well. It's very inconspicuous, right? Nothing spectacular about it. You know, I don't have to unscrew the cap to get to the writing part of it. It's also got the glass break on it. It's sturdy, it's heavy, it fits in my hand well, right? And so those angles that I showed you guys here a second ago, those really become natural with this thing. And so if I have to pick a pen that I have to keep with me all the time, it's actually the Atomic Bear, and this is called the SWAT, right? S-W-A-T, Atomic Bear SWAT. Yes, it is lacking in the sense of it doesn't have lights on it, it doesn't have screwdrivers or styluses, that kind of stuff. I keep it simple, man. It's supposed to write, and it's supposed to become a self-defense tool if I don't have anything else available. I don't care about it becoming a stylus or a flashlight or having pepper spray built into it or taser or, you know, beam me up Scotty out of it. I don't need any of that stuff, okay? What I need is a pen that works well, that writes, built well, it's gonna last, and that it naturally works with my self-defense technique. All right, guys, so hopefully that gives you a lot of information when it comes to the tactical pen. Now, let me know in the comments section if you guys learned something. Do you like tactical pens? Do you not like tactical pens? Do you have one? Which one do you have? Why'd you pick that one? Let me know in the comments section. And if you guys got something out of this video, you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I'm on a quest to really make this YouTube channel grow again, all right? So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, comment down below. And until the next one, guys, you know how it goes. Keep your blade sharp, keep your skills sharper. I'll see ya.